My current resume is an SVG that I keep at resume.splashy.com. My resume used to be a PDF, but I was running into an issue where uploading it to different job sites would mangle the actual text on it because I was prioritizing layout over accessibility. Now, since it's an SVG, the text is something that you can copy and paste. So just selecting all of this text and then pasting it into a new document, you can see this is actually pretty well formatted. If this were in a markdown document, then this would get turned into a link, and there's actual more text at the bottom than you can see in the image. And I think this is a pretty interesting idea. The point of this text is to make it concise, and ideally this would lead to another conversation. But if I'm uploading it to a website, it's not going to have that same formatting. So I decided to expand on the information at the bottom of the resume. Let's look at the code. Right now I'm in WebStorm and I'm looking at the SVG viewer, which is a pretty handy built-in tool that they have to preview the SVG as you're writing it. You can either look at it as if it is the SVG, like the image, or you can look at it as if it is text. I find that pretty helpful. I wrote this resume relatively from scratch. I came up with the idea using Illustrator and then expanded on that. I made a video about that earlier. I will link in the comments. But the point behind this was to gain more familiarity with how it feels to write XML-based languages like HTML or SVG. I have a decent amount of experience with HTML, but SVG is relatively new to me. I want to make sure that I have the ability and fluency to communicate ideas with the different media that I have access to. So SVG is something that I want to make sure that I learn. I have a bit of experience with it using D3, but I haven't really gotten into the nitty-gritty of maintaining a document on my own. I figured this would be an interesting challenge. So for this specific element on my resume, let me see if I can highlight that by deleting it. Yeah, this is the first link. I had to turn the formatter off because I wanted to preserve the space so it would look like it's supposed to. Here I have hidden brackets, so when it comes up in the text, we have resume.svg.text. You can see that it's formatted like a markdown link, but if you look at the actual resume, it's not showing up that way. I also have a whole bunch of weird decimal places because I wanted to make it easy to find that number. These are the numbers that depend on each other. So if I were to change the height of one of these, for example, if I wanted to change the height of this section, I'd probably change the height of the background and then find wherever I use this number and then add however much to that section as well. So the height of this is 165. If I go to the next occurrence of that decimal, then I would see 410 depends on that. If I wanted to increase that to 185, for example, then I would increase this by the same amount, 430.